23. Great Mother. The men who had greeted them led Tenka and Jii through the village, up stone steps to the second terrace, then up more steps to the third and highest terrace. They followed a rambling and crooked path up to a cave high in the canyon wall. The men stopped and stood aside just outside the cave opening. "We cannot go in," they said. Tenka and Jii left the men and proceeded into the cave. Parts of the floor had been chiseled flat, and the ceiling had been chipped away in some places. Otherwise, it seemed unchanged from its natural state. Deeper in, the cave narrowed to a tunnel. Soon they could not see their hands in front of their faces. Tenka reached out to feel the tunnel walls and continued at a careful pace. "Have you been here before?" Jii asked in the darkness. "No, never." The tunnel dove downward for a stretch, then curved, then ramped up again. They walked slow, hoping the floor would not trip them or open up to swallow them whole. It seemed to Tenka her eyes conjured color in the darkness. "Is that light?" "I think so," Jii said. "Come," echoed a voice up ahead. "You are almost here." Soon they detected the dimly lit shape of the tunnel. Then etched lines in the floor and pockmarks in the walls. What had seemed at first a trick of the eyes grew from a splotch of color to a wall bathed in dusty orange light. It was not a dead end but a sharp turn in the tunnel. And then blindness. Tenka stopped and shielded her eyes. Jii ran into her. "It will pass," said the voice, now sounding much closer and without the echo. "Your eyes will understand in a moment." Tenka shaded her eyes and squinted. A blur of color soon cleared into green plants of all kinds, dotted with colorful fruits and flowers. She looked up and saw stone walls stretching endlessly up to blue sky far overhead, not the low ceiling of a cave as she had expected. They were in some kind of chasm in the mountain, she realized, with no way in but the tunnel or a very long fall from above. A dark shape moved ahead, partly blocked from Tenka's view by a bush. "Come," said the voice. Tenka walked toward the center of the opening, picking her way around clusters of bushes, cacti, and small trees growing from the dusty ground at her feet. Jii followed. The moving shape became a young woman stoking a fire. Next to the fire, reclining on a pile of rugs, laid a very old woman, still the oldest woman Tenka had ever seen. "Greetings, Mother Daiyima," Tenka said, bowing as she walked. Jii echoed her greetings, adding, "They said you were expecting us." "Yes," said Great Mother. "Come, sit." Old rugs lined a circle around the fire, piled one on another. Tenka and Jii did as they were told and sat across from Great Mother. The old woman nodded, studying their faces over the fire. "Interesting. In the vision, I saw no faces, only moving shapes like shadows walking across the land. You are on a journey of peace," she announced, then whispered, "the most sacred kind of journey which can be taken." "If we join the other tribes," Tenka said, "and cast out the Easterling invaders, we will finally have peace." "No!" Great Mother slapped her hands together, then wagged her finger. "There cannot be peace between old Brinaatii only. Peace can only come between all Brinaatii, new and old, together, one." She interlocked the fingers of her leathery hands to form a big two-handed fist. Jii said, "But when we find Drekken..." "Drekken? Pfft, they call him prophet, but the man misunderstands his purpose." "Great Mother," Tenka said, summoning all the patience and respect she could muster, "the Easterlings attacked our village." "Yes, we know. Do not talk to us in that appeasing tone like we are children, or else we will tell young Helper to hit you with her fire poke. She is the strongest girl in the village." The young woman did not acknowledge the comment. She had set a pot of water on the hot coals of the fire, and now dropped a handful of dried leaves in it. "How could you know?" Tenka asked. "No word has been sent. The battle has only just occurred, 2 days past. Are we not called Great Mother? Have we not been given dreams of these things? Trails in the sky, people wrapped in cloud, stars falling from heaven like rain. All these and more Great Spirit has shown us. And you, a pair of messengers on a journey of peace, have we not seen all this and more?" "What is the—" Jii started. Mother Dayima held up her hand. "Saba first," she said. "And names. We remember the faces that belong to the names, but the names fly from our mind like birds on the breeze." As if to a very old person who has forgotten everything, Tenka said, "I am Keten Tenka." Again with that appeasing tone, Great Mother said. She inhaled deeply. "Keten Tenka, yes. Wind Hunter. Given that name because of the tornado on the day of your birth which came very near your village. A sign maybe, or just a thing that happened? And you?" "Dare Jii," Jii said. Spear thrown true. Named for a hope which has become a fact. Is it not so? But remember, little one, there are things which can be thrown true besides spears, and sometimes the spear not thrown is the truest spear of all." Jii sighed loudly, exchanging glances with Tenka. Jii was the embodiment of skepticism, lips tight, eyes half closed, one eyebrow raised. Great Mother continued weaving her basket while her young helper stirred the pot of water. The smell of Saba filled the garden. To avoid laughing at Jii's frustration, or growing angry at her disrespect of a Great Mother, Tenka looked away and let her eyes wander. She had heard tell of this place many times since she was a child. Her people called it Suwiko, the dreaming place where only women were allowed and only when invited by a Great Mother, where spirit energy was strong. The water boiled. The young woman took the pot away from the fire, let it cool for a moment, then poured the leaf-steeped liquid into 4 dried gourds. She bowed her head in silence, then carried the gourd cups one at a time to each of the women, leaving one on the sand for herself. Tenka took her cup, closed her eyes, and let the steam bathe her face. She fanned the steam over her head to cleanse her thoughts, then drank a mouthful of the scalding Saba. "What would you have us do?" she asked. Great Mother seemed not to hear. She continued weaving, set her basketry down to accept her cup when it came. She held the cup up, pursed her lips, and blew into the steam. She blew steam at Jii, then at Tenka, then drank. "It is not what we would have you do," Great Mother finally said. "You must do what you have been sent to do. Tribe speaks, hunter listens. Does not matter whether hunter hunts prey or hunter hunts peace. Tribe decides, hunter does." "We were sent to speak to you," Tenka said, "to find out whether to join the war against the Easterlings. That is what our village sent us to learn." "No," Great Mother said, closing her eyes. "You are only thinking of the fish. Think of the river. You were not sent for an answer. You were sent for a question." Tenka felt Jii beside her, fidgeting in frustration. "If not an answer," Tenka said, "then what question do you give? What is peace worth?" Jii spoke up. "We would die for our village and our tribe, every one of us." "No!" Great Mother's eyes shot open. "You would die for your people. The Easterlings would die for their people. Every person dies for their people. Then who is left? All are willing to die, so all die." "This is how we have always lived," Jii said. "We protect our people. We hunt for our people. The spirits chose and favor our people." Great Mother sighed. "You, child, have no ears to hear my words. But you," she looked at Tenka, "Keten Tenka of the Rasi, hear what I have to say. You have been sent to find peace for your people. You will not return home now. You will continue north. When you find what you seek, this war you speak of will already be over. Then you must decide how to make the peace your village desires." Tenka felt her heart stop. Not return home? Continue north? She opened her mouth to speak, but Great Mother spoke first. "I have said all I will say. Ask no more questions. Finish your Saba, then go. Do not linger even one night. Your journey must begin with all haste. Great Spirit has shown me these things, and I have spoken them to you. This thing is in your hands now, hunters. Young Helper will see you out." "Great Mother," Tenka began, "I have said all I will say." "But what?" Jii started. "Can you not hear, child?" Great Mother asked. Jii made a noise but said no more. Tenka felt empty and numb, like all hope had gone out of her. She took a final drink and stood, shot Jii a look, then turned to follow the young woman who led them out through the cave tunnel, the same way they had come in. Just before they reached the outside and the path down to the village, the young woman stopped and turned to face them. Tenka saw the woman as a shadow, outlined by sunlight streaming into the cave. The woman held up her hands, placing one on Tenka's forehead and the other on Jii's. She whispered words they could not hear, then grabbed Tenka's head between both her hands and pulled Tenka toward her. She kissed Tenka on the forehead and said in a strong, quiet voice, "Keten Tenka of the Ratsi, you are peace hunter." She did the same to Jii. "Jii of the Ratsi, you are true friend." The young woman closed her eyes and stood, still as a statue. Tenka waited a heartbeat, but the woman did not move or speak again. Tenka walked past the woman out into sunlight. Jii followed. As they descended the steps to the village, Tenka looked over her shoulder at Jii. Jii asked, "What in dark hell just happened?" "I do not know. Are we going to do what she said? I do not see that we have a choice." Jii groaned. Tenka requested a messenger be sent to their village to let their people know the two hunters would not return as soon as hoped. "True friend," Jii said as they left Great Mother's village. "Who cares about true friend? Why not enemy slayer or death rain or relentless stabber? At least you still have hunter in your new name." This will be a long journey, Tenka thought.